You know, for well over a decade, proof of work has been the absolute engine for countless blockchains. And it was all built on one really simple but incredibly powerful idea.
And that was the mantra, right? One chain, one algorithm, one single puzzle. It's what powered Bitcoin, what powered so many others, and it gave them this rock-solid security because it was just so simple. It's a formula that has proven itself, for sure, but what if that very strength, that simplicity, is also its biggest weakness? I mean, really think about it. What if that single-minded focus, the very thing that made it so strong in the first place, is now the exact thing that's limiting its ability to grow, to adapt, and to evolve for the future? And that question, right there, gets to the absolute heart of the problem. When you force every single miner on the network to solve the exact same puzzle, yeah, you create a system that's powerful, but it's also incredibly rigid. And that rigidity, well, that leads to some pretty serious bottlenecks.
Just think about what that actually means in practice. You want to change that one puzzle? Good luck. You risk a massive disruption to the entire network's consensus. You want to add a new kind of useful work? Well, that almost always requires a hard fork, which, as we know, can be a huge contentious split. So what you're left with is a system that's kind of locked into its original design from years ago, and it really struggles to evolve.
Okay, so that's the problem. And this is exactly where Qubitcoin's Planck upgrade comes into the picture. It doesn't just try to tweak that one puzzle rule. No, it completely rewrites the playbook. So what is it? It's called a multi-puzzle execution engine. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, I know, but the idea behind it is just brilliant. Instead of that one single task, imagine a system that is built from the ground up to run many different proof-of-work puzzles at the exact same time, in parallel, and all of them are working together to secure the network.
And this gives us the perfect analogy to visualize it. Before Planck, you can think of proof of work as a single-lane road. Every single bit of computation had to cram into that one lane. And of course, you'd get traffic jams. Planck blows that up and turns it into a multi-lane superhighway. Now, all these different kinds of work can have their own dedicated lanes, all moving forward at the same time, super efficiently.
So let's be really clear here. This is not just an update. It's a fundamental transformation. Proof of work goes from being this fixed, static algorithm into a dynamic, programmable, and totally modular platform. The leap is kind of like going from a simple four-function calculator to a full-blown, customizable computer. It's a whole new ballgame.
Okay, so that's the cool tech stuff. But this isn't just some abstract change that only developers care about. It has huge, direct, tangible benefits for the people who are the backbone of the entire network, the miners.
For miners, this is an absolute game changer. They're no longer stuck having to compete on just one single algorithm. Now, all of their diverse hardware can finally be put to good use. You've got powerful GPUs, which are great for parallel tasks. They can crush one puzzle. Your general-purpose CPUs, they can be optimized for another. And any of that super specialized ASIC hardware can focus on its own dedicated modules. It just opens up so many more ways to contribute and earn rewards. And all those advantages, they really start to stack up. Miners get way better use out of their expensive hardware. The network itself becomes more stable. You get smoother block times because, hey, if one puzzle slows down for a bit, the others keep the network chugging along. It just creates a much more predictable and resilient environment, which is exactly what you want if you're running a professional mining operation.
But the benefits don't stop with the miners. Not at all. This multi-puzzle approach also creates a network that is fundamentally more secure. You could almost call it defense in depth.
I mean, just try to imagine what it would take for someone to attack this network. An attacker can't just compromise one little puzzle anymore. They would have to gain control over the majority of the hash rate for puzzle A and puzzle B and puzzle C and so on for every single active puzzle on the network, all at the exact same time. The cost and the complexity of pulling that off just went up exponentially. So you end up with this really robust, multi-layered defense. The diversity makes the network way harder to predict. It makes it much harder for any single type of specialized hardware, like an ASIC, to completely take over and centralize the network, which is a huge win. And with all these different independent streams of randomness coming in, it's so much harder for anyone to try and manipulate the whole consensus process. So let's just boil this all down for a second. Before Planck, what did you have? A single puzzle, pretty limited mining options, and upgrades were a total nightmare. Now, after Planck, Qubitcoin is a multitasking platform. Mining becomes adaptive, it's future-proof. And maybe most critically, you can add new puzzles, even useful scientific workloads, without needing those disruptive and dangerous hard forks. When you put all of this together, it becomes pretty clear that this is way more than just an upgrade for one chain. This is really a glimpse into the next stage of proof of work itself.
This is the grand shift we're talking about. It's the evolution from a simple, single-task chain that can really only do one thing into a fully programmable proof-of-work platform that's capable of running all sorts of different computations today and getting ready for even more complex workloads tomorrow.
So what does this future-ready proof of work look like? Well, it's more scalable because you've removed those old bottlenecks. It's more adaptive because it can actually evolve without breaking itself. It's way more miner-friendly, which creates a healthy and stable ecosystem. And it's getting ready for what's next, creating this flexible foundation that could one day maybe even incorporate things like post-quantum cryptography or take on real scientific workloads.
See, this isn't about trying to preserve proof of work like some museum piece. It's about making it stronger, making it more flexible, and getting it ready for whatever the future holds. Simply put, it's proof of work evolved.